Stalker Gamma, the horror story grown men tell each other before bed. A game that broke minds, keyboards and overloaded Microsoft servers with crash reports. Today, my dear viewer, I invite you to take my sweaty hand and dive headfirst into a world of shit and radiation. Gamma, I'm coming for you.
Oh, try me, bitch.
And today's session of pure self-abuse stars a brave soldier of the Ukrainian army, bearing a proudly Slavic name, Private Balls. The lad arrived in the zone not long ago, reported to his superior, spent the last of his parents' money gearing up for the trip, and immediately received his first assignment: escort 3 fellow soldiers to the bar in Rostock. And I could really use the company, considering we ran straight into a pack of boars, followed shortly by stalkers, whose ass-kicking from half the map away served as friendly reminder of how things actually work in this game. After turning the bandits into minced meat, another pack of boars instantly jumped us. Apparently, the zone is experiencing a population boom in aggressively stupid meat. At the exit from the cordon, yet another group of bandits was waiting for us. We butchered them with particular enthusiasm, and I immediately started collecting loot, junk from everyone who left their heads here. I was obviously fighting Nazgul because their weapons literally crumble into dust from the slightest breeze. Same with their armor. Which is very strange, since I didn't notice any malfunctions while they were blasting me with it. The garbage didn't let us board either. Local mutants and assorted stalker scum warmed us up nicely, not to mention the zombies that appeared out of nowhere. One of them experienced true unity with solid ground. After shooting him, the recoil instantly booted us straight to the desktop. After going through the entire procedure again, we drop by the butcher for a moment and stock up on ammo. Then hop over to the flea market, where we sell compressed dust disguised as weapon to a local trader. And yes, I enabled the black market mode because I have absolutely no desire to farm money for half a year in this ultra-realistic modification for the most hardcore stalkers. Although, as it later turned out, I would be suffering anyway. In Rostock, as per tradition, we shoot a few dogs in front of the base entrance, after which my companions simply decided to stay there, since that was the destination. As for us, we ran back to garbage and then to Agroprom to the Colonel. It's about time we finally report our arrival. At Agroprom we met yet another zombie, very strange, I don't remember them ever being here, a couple of mutants, and finally we reached the military base. Judging by the sounds, a pair of zombie-fight also attacked our checkpoint, but that doesn't stop us from receiving an ultra-important task. Retrieve ultra-secret documents from an ultra-secret hideout that the entire zone and all of YouTube have known about for years. Luckily, the entrance to this world of secrets is located right on our base, so we go down there and end up back on our base. Who the hell knows, maybe I'm supposed to climb down headfirst? Same result. Obviously, this entrance is not canonical, so we ran to the correct hatch, killing a zombie along the way that, for some reason, was guarding our checkpoint. What the hell is going on? Down in the underground, as usual, we grind through a gang of criminals and kill a bloodsucker that nearly tore my leg off. Then a poltergeist decides to unbox a crate using my head. And there it is, our long-awaited case. Following Canon, we ran to the exit straight back to our base, and the last thing I expected to see here was, you won't believe it, a controller. This time I wanted to take the bastard out cleanly, like a proper sniper, but the Mosin, worn down to blisters much like my hands from loneliness, simply refused to deal any damage. In the end, common sense won and the controller's corpse rewarded us with big fat nothing. So after reporting to the colonel and receiving a fairly useful reward, our soldier went off to figure out how the workshop actually works. Because in this ultra-realistic modification, mechanics refuse to do their jobs, and by the laws of realism, a regular zone bum is expected to both fix a gun and stitch together an exoskeleton. And once again, zombies attack us. This is clearly not normal, something is wrong with the zone. So we take a job from the colonel to clear out stalker scum, butcher them effectively and with style. Then suddenly the general urgently calls us back.
Don't sleep, buddy.
But we are in no rush. First we stock up on ammo, fix the Mosin, slightly upgrade our gear, and only then take the general's martial justice task, which we fail instantly. Okay. After that, we finally take a real mission: infiltrate Laboratory X18 in hopes of finding information that might have shed some light on what's happening to the zone and why there are so many zombies around. At the garbage, I even ran into a tactical zombie. What are you doing? Jesus, just look at this guy. I also met Monsignor Rails for Hands and his entourage, then Comrade Burer, and at last we finally made it to X18. Inside, we were greeted by the same suffocating filth and piss stench as always. And after getting the door code, which I still can't remember after 17 years of playing Stalker, I got a flashback. Papa? Is that you? And just like with my drunk dad, the moment the door opened, the lone armed piece of shit immediately tore half my face off, along with an arm and a leg. But the surprises didn't end there, because inside, they were getting ready to marinate me properly. Harry Cox is a loser who owes everyone and everything back on the big land, so he decides to head into the zone where money is supposedly easy to make. He gets lucky. The sorted head sends him to the scientist after learning that he has a higher education as a PE teacher. Our friend is already being actively searched for outside the zone, and it would be long before they reach here as well. So no matter what, we have to keep our cover intact, behave like a proper egghead, and save up 1 million rubles as fast as possible to pay off the debt. We take our first assignment from Professor Dada and head to look for secret documents in a tunnel at Agroprom. On the way, we stop by the military base to stock up on ammo, although dogs bite half my ass off along the way, and we end up going to their medic with our last money. He pumps me full of something heavy, and then I hear the sound of a zipper. Since we're already here, why not take a dirty work as well? The scientists don't see me anyway. We put the poor bastard in the coffin, grab the documents, turn in both tasks and the loot, and so far things are going pretty well. Already 11k rubles. Half of that will immediately go toward medication. So we go to Professor Markov for some real scientific work, finding artifacts for his experiment in specific anomalies. We rush headfirst into an anomalous field, grab the artifact before we get dissolved into soup, and fall straight into a vortex. What is happening? Where am I? Am I a mercenary? Vehicle tutorial? Is this Far Cry? So many questions, so few answers. After dying for some reason, I ended up in a different body, somewhere in Zaton. Whatever is going on here, I need to get back to Yantar, and the closest route goes through the Red Forest. The problem is, judging by my gear, I won't even make it 100 meters without coughing my lungs out onto the asphalt. After that death, I get transferred into the body of Captain Prokopenko from duty, who almost got eaten by a lurker. Luckily, we are in wild territory, Yantar is close, and scientists and stalkers definitely won't shoot a duty member, so we head there, methodically wiping out mercenaries along the way. Like a proper kids football coach, we catch absolutely every bullet flying at our goal and crawl to a campfire with literally 2 HP left. I'm pretty sure I'm dead anyway, so we proceed with ritual self-immolation. After that, we end up in the body of yet another duty member, this time in Rostock. I decide to take advantage of the situation, stock up on medical supplies just in case, and with the remaining money travel to Yantar with a guide, except the guide fucks me over and takes me straight to the desktop. After finally making it to Yantar, I get an idea. I don't know if you noticed, but every time I spawn in a new body, my armor is completely worn to zero, while my weapons are more than intact. This is not a bug, this is a business model. So here's the plan. I die, run to a base if possible, dump the loot, then die again, turning the whole thing into a deadly attraction of unprecedented generosity. This time, I reincarnate as a monolith member on radar, and considering I'm going to die from radiation in about 5 seconds, I might as well do something useful before that. Next, I'm a bandit, and of course, the first thing we do is engage in friendly fire. The fewer enemies we have later, the better. Now I'm a Mansin, and a Mansin you have to pay for your sins, my friends. Except I was the only one who paid, because after dying, I spawned in the same faction again, but far beneath the zone's textures. Do you really think that's going to stop me? We move to Yantar, let ourselves get killed, and end up in a dark valley near the bandit base. Well then, taking advantage of the situation, we kill their leader, die, respawn nearby as a loner, and head back to Yantar, where we find our previous corpse. I look like a crucified rockstar. Luckily, all the loot is still there, so we move it into a stash. Now, we need to rejoin the scientists. For that, we need to save up some money and, of course, change our name back to our own, completely erasing the identity of the poor bastard whose body we are currently inhabiting. And just like that, everything falls back into place. Tasks are getting done, stashes are being looted. We also swing by the wild territory and find my old corpse there, and you won't believe this, all the gear that was previously worn down to near transparency is now sitting at 100% durability. Meanwhile, our private boss keeps dying for our sins. And while Poltergeist and Broken Arms already hurt our progress, the pseudo-bastard makes the success of this mission outright impossible. Add to that weapons jamming every 3 seconds, plus completely random monster spawns after killing the Pyrogeist, and the last 4 spawns were only controllers in a tight spaces, and you'll get nothing. At some point, the Lord took pity on me and with his fatherly hand guided me through hordes of enemies, and then threw me straight to a pseudo-giant to be eaten again. Luckily, I managed to save before the fight, and finally, after 8 deaths, I learned how to fight it. You need to jump literally split second before its splash attack, only then do you avoid damage. It's like playing Dark Souls, nothing complicated. Bro, you really got fucked up. We opened the second door, grabbed the documents, and haul ass back to the colonel. And while we were busy fucking around underground, zombies on the surface really did multiply. On the garbage, I was greeted by the entire platoon of zombie fight, and one of them was basically booby-trapped. The moment I hovered my cursor over his weapon, the game immediately kicked me the fuck out. Things are worse than I thought. At this point, nothing spawns in the game except zombies. So we sprint full speed to the base, get ambushed by zombies, they get smarter every hour, sell the weapons we found to our comrades. In their hands, everything works perfectly for me, a rifle at 95%, jams every second shot, and head over the documents to the colonel. As a reward, we receive a solid helmet and an ultra-important assignment: retrieve secret documents from a stash located on our own base. I was born for this. We also finish off the remaining living Stalkers in the area and head to Laboratory X16. The documents from X18 turn out to be instructions for a Soviet microwave. Just kidding, there were no microwaves in the Soviet Union. So now, all hope lies in the documents from X16 being something more useful. Meanwhile, our mystical scientist decides to drop by the military base at Agroprom, only for them to open fire the moment I get close. What the fuck? Scientists aren't enemies of the military, are they? Very strange. Must be that they somehow figure out who I really am. I'll deal with them later. For now, I decide to check how things are going at the factory above X16, where, unfortunately, I run straight into a controller and everything starts all over again. We spawn as a Monolith member, sacrifice ourselves, spawn as a bandit, die like a samurai, then die from radiation. Then, as a Freedom member, we buy everything we can, head to Yantar, dump the loot into a stash, and sprint straight into an anomaly. And so it goes. Stay calm, brother. This is what the Monolith wants. What's happening in the zone did not go unnoticed. The Monolith, clearly alarmed by the growing madness, finally released its trump card from the sealed shithole at the CNPP. A fighter it had been saving for the very last resort. A warrior, a messenger, even an inquisitor. Apostle Penetratius. A name given to him back on the big land in gay clubs when he used to be a regular. Now, nothing more than a distant reminder of his former life. A very important mission stands before him, one that requires immediate preparation. And for preparation we will need money. Why the Monolith would need money is unclear, but if that its will, then we will pay up, of course. What choice do we have? Looted stashes, vengeance upon the unbelievers, and a whole lot of other wet work. Even a pseudo-giant couldn't withstand the onslaught of the Monolith, for such was its will. In the northern part of the zone, people carry serious gear, so we won't have to grind for long. But Private Ball's path was not nearly as easy. First we found an artifact of surprising power, one that lets you kick zombies and Tushkanos. Then, on Yantar, there were several perimeter violators heading around, which forced us into a careful firefight right between peacefully standing scientists. Fuck! Who's that? Oh no, 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 no. Of course they're coming this way. Here goes nothing. Oh, come on! Sheesh. Now we can finally head down with a clear consciousness and make progress without issues, until snorks break my knees. Of course you spawned an anomaly right under my ass. Or at least not in my backpack. Oh, this is a good moment to test the artifact.
Nah.
Cocksucker! Son of a whore, where are you? As it turns out, the bloodsucker had a bigger fish waiting for it, a Bureau shooting lightning. Honestly, I don't know why I'm surprised. We were warned 100 times that the zone is full of surprises. After that, everything goes by the book. We kill the controller, grab the documents, and spawn the professor. Forgive me for being clever, but I simply ran out of ammo. I see you guys are having fun here. We hand over the harvested meat to the professor, the documents to the colonel, and head for yet another secret stash on a nearby rooftop, about 15 meters away. Upon returning, after a thorough analysis of the recovered documents, we learn that the colonel's mother is a whore, and that's where all the valuable information ends. No one knows what to do, and no one can help us. Well then, I know what to do. Everything that's happening is obviously connected to the fact that I selected survival mode at the start of the game, and the only way to fix this is to reach the center of the zone, find the monolith, and make a wish.
Well, duh.
My logic is flawless, but the road ahead is long. Let the multi-day grind begin. While Private Balls farms money and spare parts, our immortal Cox chooses to help Professor Semenov. The task is simple. Kill 5 different mutants in his presence, because he likes to watch, and because he needs samples. Naturally, the best place on Yantar for mutant hunting is Laboratory X16, but the moment we go down, the professor spawns at the very bottom of the lab, and by the time I reach him, he's already been torn apart. The only contribution I manage is shooting him in the middle of the chaos. No, that's a reload. On the second try, everything works perfectly. Samples are collected, and the professor even lies down to rest. Which leaves us with one last task: clear the lab completely and return to the professor, who immediately asks us to clear the laboratory. Oh shit, here we go again. And our soldier, after 6 long days of farming, helped by our trader's occasional ability to offer actually decent weapons, finally geared up properly and amassed a solid amount of money. All that was left to find volunteers willing to go with me to the center of the zone, and it's a miracle that at least 2 answered the call, which came just in time, since zombies were already assaulting our base almost every 5 minutes. So we set out, moving through the garbage and stopping by the butcher on the way, occasionally earning ourselves a heart attack. Jesus! Then we passed through Rostock, shooting every perimeter violator we met along the way. At the army warehouses, absolute hell is breaking loose. Zombies are pouring in like idiots, and Freedom members don't even pay attention to us. On radar, we run into mixed resistance from zombie fight and monolith fighters. We even find a pseudo-giant in the forest, and after an epic fight with it, the Lord decides to light a star in our honor, which almost tore my face off. My god! In Pripyat, we spawn right in front of a group of completely unsuspecting monolith soldiers, and immediately take apart a chimera on the run. Another epic victory! Oh god, please don't fuck me this time. Unfortunately, the unstoppable force does eventually collide with an immovable object in the form of Mark Humbeck. But there is nothing that can be fixed with a reload. After overcoming that as well, we finally enter the territory of the CNPP. Meanwhile, Harry Cox wasn't wasting time either. After dying a few more times, we find a decent sniper rifle and head out to wipe the military base off the map. Look, I even mind the stairs behind me, just in case someone decides to sneak up on my sniper position from the rear. God, I'm so smart it hurts. After After that, I decided to drop by the Dead City, since the professor asked me to check yet another stash beneath the mercenary base, who, by the way, are hostile to me like complete assholes, despite no war ever being declared. Obviously, my enemies back on the big land have already spread the word to the right people, and there is a bounty on my head now. And that definitely sounds like not my problem. After killing a whole lot of people and destroying the mercenary base, I officially start a war between them and the scientists, and come to one simple conclusion. I won't make my million in time. Too many people have become my enemies already. The only path left is to reach the center of the zone, wish for wealth from the Wish Granter, and get the hell out of this place. And after a few more deaths, during which I carried all my broken loot with me, only to later collect it from my corpses already repaired. Just look at this El Dorado. I'm practically unkillable now, and we march toward the CNPP, leaving nothing behind us but dead corpses. Apostle Penetratius is now fully ready to spread the word of the monolith and penetrating bullets. The task is simple: destroy all major unbeliever bases across the entire zone. Luckily, the military base at Acroprom and the mercenary base in the Dead City have already been wiped out by someone, which makes our job even easier. We start with Jupiter. Upon arrival, I rejoiced at seeing my brothers, hoping they would join me and cover my back, my ass, and other vital body parts. But the monolith clearly blessed them with very small dicks, so let these pussies keep moving toward their women's restroom. I'll handle everything here myself. Under the cover of the night, I stuff all of Yanov full of lead, then stock up from a local heretic. Maybe money doesn't smell, though the food I bought certainly does. After that, we head to the nearby scientist bunker and wipe everyone out using a clever tactic. Spill some blood, catch a few bullets, whimper like a bitch, run into the bushes, then flee into the bunker from a bureau who decided to join the fun. Pray to the monolith that we don't get fucked too hard in the ass, gather our courage and finish off the remaining enemies. Next, we head to the Red Forest, where we are supposed to help our rather dim brothers from Sin, and then take a job from the local sheriff. Find documents in X16. Fuck you, I'm not crawling in there for the first time. After getting a proper night's sleep, we march to the forest toward the army warehouses. We don't get far though. Two chimeras immediately demand our attention. Next time, I resort to a secret monolith tactic, run in circles around the rock. Oh, shit. After all formalities are settled, the Apostle heads to the army warehouses, where he witnesses a brave freedom fighter solo a controller, only to catch a bullet to the back of the head moments later. Taking shelter in a house from a Psy storm, we meet a scientist who is absolutely not hostile to us, and even call us brother. Strange things are happening, but there is no time to figure them out. The freedom base is waiting. Marching out like obedient little bunnies, one by one, the enemies quickly understand why my name is Penetratius. I, on the other hand, don't understand how I ended up on the desktop. After dealing with all the heretics here, I had to spread the word of the monolith in Rostock, except for some reason nobody is listening. I throw 3 grenades at duty and nobody even scratches their ass. Deciding it's finally time to step out from behind the curtain, I unleash a real massacre and make it clear to Lyonya Immortal that he is, in fact, not immortal. Everyone was so eager to meet their death that there was no need to even look for anyone, and by the time I was done, the bar itself was already empty. After that, with a very particular sense of humanity, I finish off the fighters against the zone's infection. What irony to be defeated by that very infection. Technically, I am 8, I guess. The further south we move, the easier it gets, since down here we mostly run into bumps with double-barrel shotguns. Our next target is the bandit base in the Dark Valley, and those ghouls actually made me sweat a little. One of them even punched me in the face through a concrete wall. Nice one. After sleeping it off following a very productive genocide, we make up early in the morning and head out to sow death once again. Meanwhile, both our heroes are pushing deep into the CNPP. Both want to make a wish, both want to fix the world, but who will get there first? And will they manage to do it before the Apostle, whom they don't even know exists, destroys everything they love? Smoke break, guys. Oh shit. Cox, hyper-optimized and wearing the best gear in the zone, was impossible to stop. If he ever had a PhD in anything, it was in smearing fanatical brains across radioactive concrete. Private Balls, on the other hand, was no longer meeting zombies, only dense monolith squads. And despite slightly worse gear and absolutely brain-dead companions, who were clearly dropped on their heads as children, our soldier compensated with a massive dick. Unfortunately, his IQ matched its length. Fuck! As for the Apostle, the situation escalated to the point where the military even called in a helicopter. Finally, carrying that RPG around wasn't pointless after all. It was full-on Vietnam. Nothing could stop the penetration of Apostle Penetratius until he ran into the rookie village, where he finally met real resistance. Fuck! Jesus Christ, this is embarrassing. Open the door, you old fuck! Blowing Sidorich's door up with an RPG, he is greeted with the casual small talk about how happy Sidorich is to see new faces. But it was a trap. The blasted door gracefully returned to its place and killed me. And so Harry Cox reached the Wish Granter first, just a little more, and his wealth would be limitless. And instead of cheap Harry Cox, he could call himself Harold Coxford. Wow, nice. I got scammed. Yeah, sounds right. What the fuck? And as it turned out, peace really did come. The wish of our soldier removed every NPC from the zone. No people, no mutants, no Cox, no Apostle, no one. Well then, all that's left is to remove ourselves.